Alright, so this right here is going to be our chapter test review for the calculus test. Yesterday we did half of them. I'll do the second half now to start this video, and then whatever we get done, when we get done with those, I'll go back and fill in the extra time with problems that we did yesterday. Okay, so here's an example problem of what we could have in the test. It could be maybe like this. 2 cotangent of 3 4x. Okay, find the derivative of that function on your paper. And remember, whenever there is a number out in front, you can do product rule if you want, because there is product happening right here. Okay, but that 2, the derivative of 2 is 0. So then the one part will drop off and it'll just give you the one with the 2. And there's no other multiplication in that problem, so that means that we are not doing product rule. We're after that part, we would be doing the chain rule. Okay, so I do the derivative of the 3 first on the outside. And since it's the chain rule, the 2 would be done, so I'm not doing anything with that, because that just comes down. Okay, 3 comes out in front, and then you subtract 1 for the exponent, and then the 3 goes away. Times, what have we not done the derivative of? Cotangent. Shoot, I should have wrote these down. The derivative of cotangent, on there. Derivative of cotangent. I don't know what that is, and that's under this book here that I'm going to mess the camera up with here. So give me 2 seconds. Derivative of cotangent is negative cosecant squared. So negative cosecant squared. Alright, let's put that back here and get it set up again now. There. Okay, so my derivative of cotangent is cotangent is cosecant, negative cosecant squared of x, and my x here is still 4x because I haven't done anything with that. Okay, and the cotangent is done. And then what have I not done the derivative of yet? Derivative of 4x would be 4. Okay, so my final answer here would be this 2 times that 3 times that 4. 8 times 3, or 12 times 2, 24. So we have 24. This negative here will also come out in front. So negative 24. Cotangent squared of 4x times cosecant squared of 4x. Okay, and that's my answer. Alrighty. Let's try another one. Let's do, find the derivative of this. Notice there's multiplication there, so know what you gotta do to start. Product rule. Okay, and product rule says I take the derivative of the first, so this is the first part here. So the derivative of that, derivative of sine would be negative. Derivative of sine is positive cosine. Derivative of sine is cosine. Okay, but we gotta also then do the derivative of the inside here, which would be 2. Derivative of the first times the second. Plus the first times the derivative of the second. The derivative of cosine is negative sine of 2x. But what have I not done the derivative of also? That, so then it's also got to be timesing it by 2. Okay, so if I look here, and I'm multiplying, this 2 would come out in front. I have cosine 2x times cosine 2x gives me cosine squared of 2x. And then here, I have a 2 and this negative, so a negative 2 comes out in front, and then sine of 2x times sine of 2x gives me sine squared of 2x. Okay? And that would be my answer. Alrighty. Let's try another one here. So 3 ln of 2x cubed plus 5x. So let's find the derivative of this. And again, yes, there's multiplication. You want to do the product rule, you can, but you're wasting your time because you're doing extra work. Just bring the 3 down and find the derivative of the other part. Okay, so when I'm looking at this and I want to find the derivative, it's the chain rule. We'll just bar this to the outside, and that would be the ln. So the derivative of this ln is 1 over that. times, what have I done the derivative of yet? The inside, and that would be 6x squared plus 5. Okay? And then on this problem, I guess I would have my 3 here, times 6x squared plus 5. And then on the bottom, nothing, I mean there's an x in common, but since that won't cancel, then I don't worry about it, and I just write it out. And there's nothing else like a factor, so that would be my answer on that one. If we want, you could distribute the top. So I guess if we want to distribute the top, we could then get, to make it nicer actually, we would get 18 x squared plus 15, okay, all over 2x cubed plus 5x. Okay, so the actual, we'll go with the blue one. Simplified. Okay, questions on that? Alright, let's do this next one here. X times, so we got x ln of 5x to the 4th. Okay, so let's find the derivative of that. Okay, and those are two things that we're multiplying together, so product rule. And product rule here says we're going to do the derivative of the first times the second plus the first times the derivative of the second. So of the second part there, derivative of ln, that's the farthest to the outside, so that would turn into 1 over 5x to the 4th times, we're done with the ln. So I gotta do the derivative of that guy, which would give me 20 x to the 3rd. Okay? And then if we look here, we do some simplifying. 1x can cancel out with this 1x, leaving me with 3. Now actually, does this x cubed and this x cubed cross cancel? Yep. Leaving me with 20 over 5, which actually 5 goes into there once. 5 divides into there 4 times, or 20 divided by 5 would have been 4. So I'm left with a plus 4 here. And then I'm left with an ln of 5x to the 4th. Okay, and that would be the derivative. Alright, let's try another one. This is like the 15th problem here. X times the tangent of 8x. Find the derivative. So we got the derivative of the first times the second plus the first, and then times the derivative of the second. Okay, that's another chain rule. And the derivative of tangent would be secant squared, and then you just rewrite the 8x. Okay, done with that part. Times, you're still going to multiply by the derivative of 8x. Derivative of 8x would give me 8, which then this 8 would move right here. And I would get tangent of 8x plus 8x secant squared. Okay. Alright, let's try another one. 10 e to the negative x squared. Find the derivative. Yes, there is product, but again, if it's just a 10, remember you can bring it on front. Doesn't matter then. So just do the derivative of the second part. That's the shortcut on these. Alright, so derivative of e to the x. Well, this is my second part, so derivative of e to the x is still e to the x times, so I've already done e to the x, what part haven't I done the derivative of yet? Okay, and the derivative of that would be a negative 2x. Okay, so therefore if I multiply my stuff together, it would be negative 20 x, and then e to the negative x squared. Okay? And that would be my derivative. Okay, let's try the next one. Alrighty, let's try to find the derivative of that. Remember, you always, it's the derivative of base, have that on your unit circle. Okay, so derivative of base 5 to something would just be that rewritten. Okay, times ln of that same number, 5. Okay. Okay, that's the derivative of a base thing, so I've done the base. Okay. Then, what's the next thing I do the derivative of? The top. And that's the chain rule up here again. So then, derivative of tangent. Secant squared that part up there. Okay. Tangent's done. Times, what do I still gotta do the derivative of? The inside, so then I would get a 4x to the third plus 2. Okay, so then I would multiply by that as well. And on this one, there's not really anything that would combine. So I just write out the entire thing here. And that would be it. Alright, 3 more and then that'll be everything on the second half of the test, and we'll do a quick refresher of the first half. Okay? Find the derivative of that. And no, you do not do the product rule here. Because there's no multiplication happening except between the 8 and the x. Which, that's on the inside of this, which is on the inside of that. If you want to rewrite that square root as a half, you could. Okay, so what's farthest on the outside here? The ln. So derivative of ln would be 1 over the square root of cosine of 8x times the next farthest thing on the outside would be the half. So now the half would come on front, so times 1/2 cosine of 8x to the negative 1/2, because you got to subtract 1. Okay, so the half is done. Times, what's next? Cosine. Derivative of cosine would be a negative sine. Okay, that's done. Times the derivative. Okay, so just keep working myself from the farthest outside to the farthest inside. Now if I simplify this, where is this guy going to land? Top or bottom? This 2 will stay on the bottom, so I'm just going to bring them out in front here. This guy will land in the bottom. And the half power, when you move that, it turns negative. It's negative because it goes to the bottom, but then the half means, I'm going to turn it back to a square root. And you'll see why I did that in 2 seconds here. Okay, this negative sine 8, negative sine 8x will stay on the top. And then I actually have a negative. I'm going to bring this negative and this 8 out in the front. So negative 8 out in front. Okay, now if I simplify, all being multiplied here, 2 goes into the other ones. 2 goes into 8 4 times, so negative 4 sine of 8x over, what's the same thing that's being square root and multiplied together, so square root times the square root, they cancel, because they be squared, so then you're just left with cosine of 8x. And this goes even further, what's sine over cosine turn into? Yep, tangent. So that's tangent of 8x. And it only happens like that because they're both 8x. If it wouldn't be 8x, then they would not convert into that. Okay, we got 2 more on this one. And then I'll do a refresher of what we did yesterday. Alright, let's find the derivative of this. And it'd actually be written like that on the test. You'll have to know what's happening between here, which is a product so we got the derivative of the first times the second plus the first times the derivative of the second. So e to the x would be e to the 5x, you just rewrite it, times, what have I not done the derivative of? 5. Okay, and now with e to the x's, that's one that if it's the exact same, they actually factor these ones out. Here's how they leave them as the answer. So they both have an e to the 5x, so I'll take an e to the 5x out, and then I'm left with a 1 plus a 5x. Alright, last one here. Find the derivative of e to the square root of 3x. Okay, so the derivative of e to that is just e to that. Okay, that's how you do the derivative of e. Times. So if I rewrote this, it'd be 3x to the half. How do you do the derivative of that? Half comes out in front. 3x to the negative half times, so now once you've done the derivative of that, go to the inside, is 3. Okay, so if I make this look a little bit neater, this 3 can come right here and multiply to that 1. So I have 3 halves e to the square root of 3x is on top. And what is this going to do there? It's going to move to the bottom, and a negative half, a half power is then a square root on the bottom with a 3x. Alrighty, That right there is the second half of the calculus test. We have a couple more minutes, so I'm going to do the first half. Okay. So what if I had the square root